Wait for it. Wait for it. Text while driving. Wait for it. A message from the California Highway Patrol and the California Office of Traffic Safety.
Normally I'd have you do this texting challenge, normally I crunch on time, so I'm going to skip through this texting challenge. This is where you are trying to send a text message. The average text message takes 4.6 seconds. The simple home intent text takes 4.6 seconds average. Okay? We use a football field at 55 miles. Does anybody drive 55 on the freeway? I don't think so, right? Nobody's driving 55. 80 mostly, right? So this is showing you at 55 miles an hour and the time it takes you to send a text message, you would travel over 100 yards in 4.6 seconds. You would travel the length of a football field at 55 miles an hour. But if we were on at 70 miles an hour, 103 feet per second. So almost 500 feet, almost two football field and a half, sending a text message that you were blind to. What could happen in that short, quick second? This was an actual crash that was recreated for court purposes. See the vehicle caught fire, there's a firefighter here. Only takes a few seconds. Is this the risk the same? Is it the same as when you're talking to somebody on the phone? Is it the same as if you're talking to a passenger? Similar. They're both distracting. But what does the cell phone or what does the person have that the cell phone doesn't have? Eyeballs. Right? Self-preservation. They want to get to your destination safe. Right? My wife, when we're in the car, always. Hey, dummy, you're drifting over. Or, hey, dummy, look out, you're about to miss the exit. She likes to call me dummy a lot. Okay? The point is, she's there to correct me from what I'm doing. Right? She's there to tell me what I'm missing. If you're talking on the cell phone, they don't know what your environment's like. They don't know what kind of traffic you're in, what kind of weather conditions you're in. So no, they're similar, but they're not the same because the passenger has the shared awareness. How about this? Is hands-free safer or than talking handheld? Is it safer?
Sometimes.
The same exact crash risk. How many of you drive with two hands on the wheel all the time anyway? Most of us are like this, right? Here. Unless we're on a curvy road, then we have two hands on the wheel all the time. But if we're on a straight freeway, if you leave here, get on the 805 and go south, it's pretty straight. Right? I live down in Chula Vista. When I jump on the 5 or the 805, I go straight down. No problems. You can use one hand if you wanted to. Who takes longer to react? A drunk driver or a cell phone user? Drivers talking on a cell phone takes longer to react than somebody that's drunk. That should scare you, right? That should scare you. Texting and driving, not a matter of if, but a matter of when. 8 to 23 times of a crash risk, up to 23 times. At minimum, 8 times. Who sends their text voicemail or voice text? Anybody voice text? The voice texters always think they're better than the rest of us. Right? You'll see them talking to Siri all the time. What do you have to do when you send a voice text?
The car? I have the text, yeah.
Voice text, right?
Yeah, voice.
What do you have to do before you hit send?
Well, it's only I can play it, I can.
Can you look at it? You have to look at it to see if it's sending the right information?
No,
Push.
I can
You can hear it?
yeah.
So, if most people, if they send a voice text on their phone like this, you have to look at it, right, to see if it's sending the right information. Because the phone hardly ever gets it right. right? People have to correct it. They're actually worse than the people that are actually just sending the text message, because people that are just sending it by hand get through it faster. Another risk, we have a big problem of road rage on our freeways. A lot of that has to do with cell phones. A lot of it has to do with cell phones. I ride a motorcycle off duty. The other day I'm driving, and this lady comes over right on top of me. Right? She's on her cell phone. I can see she's on her phone. I move out of the way. I almost get hit. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And then she gets mad at me. She almost knocked me off my motorcycle, almost killed me, and she's mad at me because I said, "What are you doing?" Right? So road rage. Sometimes we have fancy things in our car. Sometimes those fancy things can be a hindrance to us too. They can distract us just as easily. So the law. Can drivers under the age of 18 legally use voice-activated functions on their phone while driving? No. Anybody have teenagers? Any teen drivers? If you have teenage drivers, they cannot touch the phone until they turn 18 years old. Okay, that's the law. No teens under the age of 18, for Bluetooth or not, they cannot use the phone until they turn 18. Adults over 18 may talk on the phone while driving only if using hands-free. Yes, this is true. This is legal. But what we want you to understand is it's not risk-free. You still are a 4 times crash risk legally talking on your phone. So what are we trying to tell you? Limit your phone conversations. You're only a 4 times crash risk as long as you're talking on the phone. As soon as you hang up, you're no longer a crash risk. So smart people that came up with hands-free or legal ways of driving. This is legal. You might get to work with a stiff neck, but you're legal. This one's my favorite. Now this might be hands-free, but I guarantee if you're wearing a bra on your head, I'm not going to stop you, okay? You know what I'm saying up there? It's a rubber band. And then my favorite, I heard this guy just got a big iPhone Plus.
Oh my God.
That's what I heard. How about this? Having both earbuds in your ears. Legal? Illegal. How many of us see it all the time? All the time. So, why do we want you to be able to hear? Why is that important? Sirens, horns, a whole bunch of things. People screaming at you, that you're driving into an area you're not supposed to go into. These are all important reasons why you should have your ears covered up. How about this? A second citation or a second ticket for talking on a or texting on a cell phone will result in a point on your license. True or false? It's actually false. Currently no points in California, so what does that mean? You can get as many tickets as you want to and you'll never lose your license. If you choose to.
Even if it calls an accident.
Even if they cause an accident. There's no points imposed. These states have already imposed points on their license. A pretty good number of states have already started. In New York, Washington, D.C., and New Jersey have already started. Usually California is pretty similar to those 3 states and how they do with their vehicle code. I'm surprised we haven't already started with everybody else, but we have already started with commercial drivers. So if you know any commercial drivers, those are people that are driving larger vehicles, they're held to a higher standard. Those people on the second ticket, the first one is free. They pay a small fine but no points. If they get caught a second time within 3 years of their first time while driving commercially, they lose their license for 60 days. If they get a third ticket within 3 years of the first, they lose their license for 120 days or 4 months. So if you know any commercial drivers, make sure you let them know. Stay off the phone. Yes, ma'am.
What about for speeding, for regular?
So for speeding, their points are doubled. For commercial drivers,
No, for regular drivers.
it's just 1 point.
But does it like add on or does it erase?
So the same thing. So you'll have any ticket you get that's a moving violation, other than the cell phone for you in your personal car. That's not a moving violation, but a speeding, stop sign, red light, unsafe turn, unsafe lane change. These are all moving violations. You get 1 point. That point will stay in your license for 3 years. You're only allowed a certain number of points from the DMV before they'll suspend your license. So it's usually 3 points within an 18-month period, or 5 points within 3 years. So that can happen really fast. That can happen really fast. That's for your everyday driver. That's you in your own car.
Yeah.
That's not the big rig driver. They're held to a higher standard because if they get a speeding ticket, that's 2 points. All they need is one more ticket, they'll get their license suspended from the DMV. So while driving, it's illegal to hold a phone if you're using it for GPS. It's actually illegal to use it for GPS now. The law has changed. 2017, this is the new law. It is illegal to hold and operate a cell phone or an electronic communication device like a cell phone while behind the wheel. Is this illegal? I'm not operating it, right? I'm holding it, but I'm not operating it. How about now? I just turned my phone on. Now I'm operating it. Now this is illegal. So you can't have your phone in your hand for any reason. To play games, to do GPS, for email, texting, anything. If it's in your hand and you're operating it while you're driving down the road, you can get stopped by the police and you get a ticket.
Maybe to check the time. Check the time. Say like if you're driving, you want to know what time it is, you turn it on and turn it off.
If you're next to an officer, right then, that split second when you did that, that would be illegal. As soon as you turn this phone on, or take it from dark to light, you're now operating the phone and you're open to this section.
A couple of years ago, I was down Chilliwack. I was at an intersection. There was a person walking crosswalk with the earbuds on, and the fire department with the sirens on, coming from behind. The person couldn't hear until somebody actually had to just wave the person down, and then finally realized there was a fire truck.
So is it dangerous, good point, is it dangerous to walk around with earbuds in your ears if you're walking on the streets?
On the crosswalk it is.
On the crosswalk, we had a young lady down in South San Diego on Otay Mesa Road.
Right.
That was on her phone, she stepped off the curb, right into the path of a big rig. And she got killed. 14 years old.
Wow.
So, again, important to keep when I get my kids all the time have the earbuds in their ears all the time. But when we get out of a car, I tell them to take them out. I make them take them out. When we go through parking lots or anywhere. We're kind of getting to that here in a second.
There was another question I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
The accident that happened here a few weeks ago about the mother and the daughter that were killed, and I saw you on TV, and it was a very good point because because I get up at 2:30 in the morning driving home, so I really like that advice you said, look beyond your bumper, because to be honest, you hear a lot of head-on collisions.
So here we have a lot of wrong way collisions. 2:30 in the morning, most of those drivers are impaired or drunk. So a lot of people just stare right in front of them. They don't look far ahead. To see something and react to it, you have to be looking far enough ahead in order to avoid a collision. In that case, that car was going so fast, that lady probably never had time to react to what she was seeing because the closing distance was so fast. That closing distance was by about 200 miles an hour. It's how fast that car was moving towards her. Because she's doing about 70, he's doing about 130. And so that closing distance happens really fast. So she probably had no chance. But most of the time it's not driving that fast. You can look far enough ahead and see it and try to avoid it before it gets to you.
Is it true that a lot of these head-on collisions, like the wrong way drivers, is because, I'm saying like at nighttime, because that person is driving the wrong way, you don't have their headlights on?
Not necessarily. Drunk people do drive around without their headlights on, but a lot of cases their headlights are on just like if they were on the right side of the road. If you get on the wrong side of the road, there's indicators, there's warnings on the freeways. The plastic dots that usually light up white, if you're driving the wrong way, they're red. Those are indicators that you're on the wrong side of the road. Now we have a lot of these on-ramps or off-ramps that actually have the red flashing do not enter signs now. Because that's warning people not to go that way. So something to pay attention to, especially if you're driving late at night. Be extra cautious, look extra far as you can to try to avoid those potential crashes. If you have a GPS and you want to mount it in your car, this is where you're supposed to mount it. Here, if you mounted your cell phone, that's okay. The only thing you're allowed to do by law is tap it or swipe it once. Once you start touching it multiple times, it becomes illegal. But you're allowed to touch it once or swipe it once to activate Bluetooth. That's the new law. How about here? Which one's illegal, which one's legal? This one's illegal, why? Because it's on the freeway. We don't want you stopping on the freeway unless it's an emergency. It's a dangerous place to be. We just had, last month, an officer, 19-year veteran, on a motorcycle. He stopped another car. Somebody drove on the shoulder, smacked into him, and killed the driver he stopped. Killed both of them. So, not a safe place to be. If you have to make a phone conversation and you want to be legal, get off the freeway, pull into a residential area, pull into a grocery store, a 7-Eleven, a gas station, somewhere where you can legally park and use your phone.
And as you walk, I have one more question. In the state of California, is there more fatalities with traffic drivers than with DUI?
It's very close. Right now, there's still more fatalities with drunk drivers, but it's very, very close.
Está chingando, está chingando.
Minimum $279. It's not worth it. A message from the California Highway Patrol and the California Office of Traffic Safety.
Hopefully nobody's ever seen a crash form. This means you've been in a crash. Okay, this is our paperwork that we fill out for a traffic collision. Right here, there's an actual specific section that talks about cell phones. A special information box that I fill in. I've been a highway patrolman for 18 years. In the 18 years, I've probably taken over 1,000 crashes in my career. Out of those 1,000 crashes I've handled, how many people told me they were on the phone when they got in a crash? None of them. Nobody told me they were on the phone at the time of crash, right? They all told me they just weren't paying attention, they didn't see it, traffic stopped too fast. The closest I ever got was my phone rang. I looked at it, I didn't touch it, I looked at it, and then traffic stopped and I hit the car in front of me. Right? So, most of my crashes, I'm not going to find out. I'm not going to find out what they were doing at the phone at the time of crash. Why? Because is the CHP going to go through, if you got in a small fender bender, are we going to subpoena your phone and try to find out if you're on the phone at the time of that crash? No. If you kill somebody or seriously injure somebody in a crash, are we going to find out if you're on your phone? You bet. You remember a Coronado Bridge crash about 2.5 years ago? Where the car came off the bridge, landed in Chicano Park, killed 4 people, seriously injured 10 people, other people. Do you guys remember the video? This thing was all over Facebook. They were live streaming on Facebook. What was he on the ground? What was he holding to his chest? Cell phone. He just dropped off the bridge over 60 feet down below, landed on those people, broke his back. You think the cell phone popped into his hand? He probably went over with the cell phone in his hand. Did we already check his phone? You'll hear about it in court. If he was on the phone, you'll hear about it in court. We do know that he was also had alcohol in his system. Whether it's enough alcohol for them to convict him for driving under the influence, that's again up to the court. but we know he had alcohol in his system. He was potentially on his cell phone. Does anybody know how fast he was driving at time of impact? When he hit the wall at over 81 miles an hour. Who knows how fast the advisory sign is on that bridge? It's 40 miles an hour. When you transition from North 5 to go to Coronado, it's a 40-mile-an-hour advisory. He was going 81 by the time he hit the wall. He already slowed down a little bit before he hit the wall. So we will check, we will find out if you're on the phone. What we do is we just take the phone, we put it into evidence, we talk to a judge, the judge then gives us a search warrant for the phone, letting us know what our parameters are to what we can look for. So we just tell them, hey, we're going to look for the time to see if you're using the phone in or around the time of the crash. And that's what we use. Day in life. This is where I get to tell you what I was doing out there when I was working road patrol on a regular basis. Last time I was doing road patrol regularly was 2011. 2011, I wrote 600 cell phone tickets. It's a lot of tickets, right? CHP didn't give me a toaster for that. Why is that important? Why is that significant? Who are those 600 people looking for? Let me ask you this. If you're doing something illegal in your car, who are you looking for? Police, right? Cops, 5-0, Po-Po, Smokey the Bear, whatever you want to call me, you're looking for me. Do I blend in? No, in 2011 I was driving a black and white Ford Crown Victoria. Who does not know what a Crown Victoria looks like? Who's still slowing down for the taxi cab at 10 o'clock at night? You got those headlights memorized, right? Yep. Now we're driving Chargers, okay, but back then everybody knew cops drove Crown Vics, especially black and white ones with giant star and lights on top. Yet I was able to drive next to people in some cases for up to 3 miles and have no idea that I was there. Does anybody drive on the 15? That was my beat. I love the 15. There's a bunch of lanes, and in the middle of the freeway, there's HOV fast track. And I would get into that fast track lane, and what I was looking for was this, or this. If you don't know, this is just as illegal as this. You might as well stick it here. Here, here, or here is what I was looking for. And when I saw it, I'd wait to stop people. I was waiting because I couldn't get out. If I'm in the HOV lane, there's a wall there, right? I can't get out. CHP doesn't have hovercrafts yet. I'm not getting over the wall. I have to wait till the opening opens up. So if somebody saw me, they could have got off the freeway. There's nothing I could have done. But people didn't do that. They continued down the freeway until the wall opened up. They look over, they see me. But what happens to this? It goes bye-bye, right? I saw it so much, I came up with a nickname for it. I called it cell phone ejection. And I call it cell phone ejection because in some way or fashion, the cell phone is removed from the hand. I'm going to tell you about the regulars I saw on a regular basis on how they ejected their cell phones. The first one specific to the name, that's this one. They look over, they see me, and we have what I like to call true ejection, right? They look over and there they go. Hopefully nobody's sitting in the back. Hit the head of the cell phone. These next people, they freak me out. They freak me out because at least I think they think. If they can do it slow enough, I can't see it happening before my own eyes. Look something like this. They look over, they see me, and their cell phone comes down what I like to call super slow-mo. If I just go slow enough, he can't see it. All the way down to their lap of their center console, the cell phone disappears, their hand comes back up just as slow, all the way back up to their face for the scratch. You see me? Yes, I did. This next individual I call Plinko. Now, you guys know Plinko on The Price is Right? Plinko used to be one of my favorite shows when I was little. And that was my favorite game was Plinko. You drop this puck down at the bottom of the money. Now I assume if you like your cell phones, you probably don't want to drop it or throw it because you don't want to break your pretty screen. So these people use their bodies as a Plinko board. Look something like this. They look over, they see me, their head goes down to their shoulder, and the cell phone starts Plinkoing down the chest. Really cool at night because it gets stuck to their chest. Phones all lit up, look like Iron Man driving down the freeway. Now I swore I'd seen everything you can do on a cell phone. I was wrong. Southbound 15, south of Mira Mesa, I looked to my right, young lady on her pink phone. I followed directly next to her for 3 miles with me next to her. until we got to Miramar Way. And when we got to Miramar Way, she looked over, she saw me, and immediately her cell phone became dislodged from her face. She holds it out here for a few seconds. I'm assuming she's thinking, what am I going to do with my phone? I'm thinking, what's she going to do with her phone? She pauses for a second and she does this. She, no joke, is brushing her hair with her cell phone. I'm cracking up in my patrol car because that's hilarious. I hit my lights and we start to pull over. Now, normally when I stop somebody, I get out of my car pretty quick. In this case, I'll have to admit to you, it did take about 30 seconds to compose myself before I got out of the car because I didn't want to walk up to her window and laugh in her face. So I gathered myself up, I walk up, I said, ma'am, Officer Sanchez, California Highway Patrol, reason I stopped you is for the cell phone. Now I gotta hand it to her, she was honest, she said, Officer Sanchez, you're right, I'm so sorry. My mother called, I hadn't heard from her in a couple days, and I wanted to make sure she was okay. What was I thinking? Who said liar? Was that you? We're taking applications, please apply, okay? That's not what I was thinking. I was thinking I wanted her to know that I knew that I saw her brushing her hair with her cell phone. But she didn't say anything about that, so I came up with something pretty quick. I said, ma'am, I'm curious. Did you get a new application for your cell phone? She looks at me with a strange look on her face. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you didn't get a new app that works as a hairbrush? She said, oh my God, you saw me? I'm like, yeah, I saw you. She started laughing, I started laughing, and then I wrote her a ticket. What's the moral to the story? Don't brush your hair with your cell phone. What's the matter with you? The moral of the story is that if the one person that you're looking for out there on the freeway can be directly next to you for 3 miles, how distracted are you by that conversation? We go back to what I told you before, tunnel vision. You look what you're not seeing. This is what you see here in the middle, right? This car right here on the right. If this is me, what's the worst that's going to happen? Worst that's going to happen is you're going to get a ticket, right? That's the worst. Is that the worst that could happen? If you can miss a bicyclist, a skateboarder, animal, motorcyclist, in the split second, a pedestrian that steps off the sidewalk right in front of you, you'd never see him. Right? You'd never see him.
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Somebody does that to your family. What do you call the other driver? Whether they intended to or not, they just took the life of your family members, right? Vehicular homicide, whether it's intentional or not, is still a homicide, it's still a murder, right? The next 3 videos you're going to see are 3 different stories of 3 different people. The first is the legal things that you could face if you kill somebody in a car crash. The second person is somebody that is that your bird?
No, se perdió la luz acá. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Y tu celular?
Ya se voló.
Ya se pájaro, ya.
The second is the person that took 2 people's lives, and now he's living with a regret. He lives every day regretting that he took those 2 lives. And the third is somebody that was just an innocent victim walking down the sidewalk and what happened to her and her husband.
A new warning tonight from the American justice system that distracted drivers will be treated as criminals. A landmark verdict in Massachusetts today convicted a driver of vehicular homicide, and his crime was blamed on texting while driving.
Negligent operation.
2 families tearful when the verdict was read today.
Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Phone records show he received 4 text messages in the minutes before the crash. The last 2 at 2:34 and 2:35 p.m. According to prosecutors, the collision occurred at 2:36.
What kind of precedent does this verdict set?
It makes it clear that prosecutors are going to pursue charges against people who are texting while driving, and it shows that juries are ready, willing, and able to render a guilty verdict.
You don't want to put people through what I put people through. It's not worth it. I tell my story, and I want them to look at me and be able to say, I do not want to be here. I don't want to do what he did. I don't want to cause the pain that he's caused. I was 19 years old. On my way to work, I made the choice to text and drive. I think back now, and what was I thinking? It is clearly dangerous, clearly obvious, and it makes no sense to me that I could think like that. And now I have to live every day in regret because I thought I could do it. And I hate myself every day for it. I was less than 5 minutes away from work. Could whatever I was texting waited 5 minutes? Yeah, absolutely.
My name is Leslie Henson, and on March 4th, my husband and I, David Henson, started out on a walk, and we headed towards the Sunbrook Golf Course. And as we were walking along Dixie Drive, the sidewalk there, we were involved in an auto